Namaste and welcome to Ripple Yoga. My name is Sarvesh, if you do not know. And it's a pleasure to be here. And I wanted to talk today about my teaching methodology and how we've built this into the Ripple Yoga platform, which is just our device for carrying this beautiful message in a wholly integrated process where we learn and then we practice what we've learned, and from that we develop the experience because it becomes a part of who we are. It is said that wisdom is knowledge plus experience. We all have wisdom. We're all teachers because then we can share that wisdom with others to help them along their path. And this is the foundation of my entire methodology for teaching. I don't consider it teaching so much as I'm just sharing what I have learned and subsequently experienced. I've had instances where people have told me that, that is not correct, etc. And it's an interesting thing because it's hard to argue or discuss with somebody how their experience was wrong. They experienced it. I did this practice, and from that, I experienced this result. Now that doesn't mean that there's not more than one way to experience the result. That's the important thing to remember. And I say this because it is important to understand that from a teaching perspective, I don't teach what I haven't experienced. And the process is I went and learned and studied the underlying philosophy, the techniques, how they're integrated, then subsequently practiced them, observed the results that were produced, the benefits that were produced, and then I can turn around and teach them and say, if you do this, you will most likely produce these results. And that is part of the beauty of the unity of yoga, in that we as human beings are constructed more or less the same way. And obviously I don't mean that in a literal sense, but the unifying truth is that we are one. And generally, the duality that we see is produced by our misperception. So when we see duality in another human being, it is because we have misperceived or misunderstood the reality of ourselves in relation to the other human being. And when we understand and accept that, or to put it another way, which my teacher says, Dr. Nandi, he says, when the drop of water realizes that it is the ocean, then the yoga exists. And I always think of it as, when I realize that I am, on one side, nothing, the drop of water, but at the same time, everything, the ocean. And I realize that everything in the universe is already here inside my head. It's just that I can't see it. It opens up an entire new world of possibilities. And the questions I ask myself are, how is my ignorance or my inability to see that reality, or my ego, getting in the way of me seeing and understanding, and then taking that and learning, then experiencing, so that I can then share that in the form of teaching? And that is always the question to ask. We seek to understand, not to be understood. When we seek to understand, we are then going against the self, going against the ignorance and ego of the self. And from that, we can then have a new experience, change our perception, and share that. And that, in a nutshell, is how I like to carry this beautiful message of conscious evolution, which for me is a way of life called yoga.